Matt, no matter what I do, my NFT portfolio keeps going down. I can't stop it. All right, we've been there, we've done that. How can we remedy this? Well, in today's video, folks, I'm going to show you guys a few things that sort of come to mind when I think of why people might be losing money with NFTs, even if they're following good strategies and, doing their research, doing their due diligence. Here is why you guys may still be losing money. If you guys are new, make sure to drop a like, subscribe. Remember, not financial advice, just my personal opinions, and let's get right into it, folks. So the first thing that comes to my mind that I think is glaringly obvious to a lot of veteran investors, but if you guys are just getting into NFTs, it's actually very easy to get swept up by just the initial hype of a certain project. A lot of people are forgetting about what they're actually using to purchase these NFTs. That's right, you guys are using crypto to do this. You're not using US dollar. And the reason why this is important is because crypto fluctuates frequently, in fact. And the best thing I think you guys could do is to not try to buy the top or the bottom or sell the top or the bottom. You never really can do that right. I've seen a lot of people try it, and overall, I would say the majority of people are not successful in trying to time the market. Instead, it's about time in the market. It's an old saying, but it really is true. What you need to do is seriously spend some time looking at the market, looking at the way that all of these assets react. And again, things are very volatile, but for example, let's say a few days ago, I purchased some Solana at around $80 because I knew that in the future, in a year from now, I would wish that I had bought Solana at $80. So I snagged some up, and of course, now it is worth $98. So my initial investment, the SOL that is sitting in my wallet, that Solana I am using to purchase NFTs in the future, but of course, I was able to spend less on it. So if I'm buying an NFT for 5 Solana, I only really spent 400 on it, even though that amount of Solana today is worth 500, because that again is something that really comes with time. But again, if you study any crypto, pick Ethereum, pick Bitcoin, pick anything, remember that this is the supply that you guys are using. This is your liquid. This is your currency. Whenever there's a bad day, a red day, a 5% dip, and they happen usually a couple of times a week, snag some more. If you bought crypto on every single sort of red day you found, you'd make money. Seriously, it's really that easy. And again, instead of trying to time the absolute bottom, instead of looking at this chart going, oh man, I wish I'd have bought Ethereum at exactly, 2,300. That's very tough to do. I would say it's a better idea to just wait for these little downturns, take a look, see if you're in a red day. And if you are, snag a little more. Eventually, you'll build a nice supply of crypto that you can use for future NFTs that you didn't spend as much as you needed to on. But before we go any further, guys, make sure to check out my Patreon down below in the description. There's so much content over there. To be honest with you guys, I think it's a steal for only $10 a month. And on my Patreon, you guys can see it. I let you guys know every single time I buy or sell an NFT. I also have an NFT watch list, which I set up for the month, NFT alerts, altcoin alerts, and so much more. So if you guys would have been on my Patreon, you guys would have seen when I bought Solana at around $80. You would have seen when I bought Ethereum at around 2,300, and you guys would have been able to replicate those plays and make some gains on your own. Again, it's definitely a great place. People have been very satisfied with the service on there. The link is down below in the description. All right, so the next thing you guys are doing wrong is you're not buying enough blue chip NFTs. You're not buying enough projects that will last when the NFT market takes a bit of a dip. And really, by definition, a blue chip anything is something that simply operate outside of the general market swings and are generally viewed as premier assets. That is how they describe blue chip NFTs, but it goes for any blue chip asset. If you buy Amazon, Google, Apple as a stock, chances are you're not going to have to sweat it or worry about it when those, stocks are affected by a normal market swing, because in 5 years they'll be worth more than they are today. Now, the NFT market is something I don't look for, 5 years in the future. That's definitely a stretch, but I would say that Metroverse, for example, would probably be worth close to what it is worth now, if not more, in 3 to 6 months' time. This is a project that I believe is a blue chip, so I've been holding this since I bought it at around 0.7. Another example is Smiles. This is basically exactly what I bought it at, and when I bought it, I told you guys at the time on the Patreon, I said, hey man, this is not something that I'm looking to make a fortune with overnight. This is something I am holding for the long term. They are partnered with Coinbase. I have faith that once the Coinbase NFT platform goes live, Smilesverse will be worth a lot more than they are today, because they're one of the few people who are actually partnering with Coinbase. So that is why I decided it was a must-have to snag one of these. Same thing if we wanted to go to the Solana industry. Thugbirds, I would say, is probably one of the oldest blue chips out there. The floor right now is 31, and it's been about this for probably 3 to 6 months. It's just a project that so many people have, so many people revere as pretty much a blue chip project that probably won't be going anywhere anytime soon. Again, investing in some of these, I think, is a good idea because, again, you will be able to sort of ride the market even when other NFTs are dumping. Because if you sat here on Magic Eden every single day trying to snag a brand new mint without investing in blue chips like that, D-Gods, let's take another example here. Here's another blue chip. If you sat here every single day trying to time mints to flip and didn't have any blue chips like this, I would say you'd be a lot worse off as you wouldn't have something to fall back on when the market takes a dip. And the final thing I would say you guys are doing wrong is you're not timing your purchases correctly, because there is actually a science to purchasing NFTs. It may sound ridiculous, but here it is. So when we take a look at a graph, let's say Adidas Originals. This is another project that I would say is probably a blue chip because it's been supported by Adidas pretty much since day one. There is a very routine pattern you guys will notice with any NFT, especially ones that are around for the long term. So you see an initial pump. Here you can see the average price goes around 0.58 to an average price here of 0.86. So that's definitely some nice gains. And then you have the Valley of Despair. You have a long period of time here from December 19th all the way up until like January 2nd where not much is changing. The price is kind of leveled off. Then you have another little pump. Same thing, price levels off. Another little pump, price levels off. It does this over and over and over again. So when we look at a graph for something like this, and Adidas is not a project I own, by the way, but when we look at a graph like this, you guys can see very recent pump up to around a floor of 1.8. Oh my goodness, is this going to explode? Then the news wears off, the announcement from Adidas wears off, and then we see a big dip. That sends us down to around 1.16. But take a look, we are recovering and we are in kind of a consolidation phase now. So in theory, if I were to look at this and try to see whether or not this would replicate a previous trend, you could say that Adidas Originals in maybe around a month from now, or few weeks, may have another pump up to around 1.8. This is just by looking at previous patterns for an asset like this. You could do this with crypto too. If we wanted to look at Ethereum here, let's say over the past year, you could say, okay, here is a massive pump. We pump up in May to around 4,000. Then we have Valley of Despair from like end of May to like July. People are just consolidating, accumulating, snagging some more Ethereum. And I did actually buy it around 1,700 on one of these days. So sometime in 2021, I did actually pick up some really cheap Ethereum. And then we see another pump. So again, when you're watching NFT graphs, it really doesn't change all that much. We could do this with Smilesverse if we want. Same thing. We see kind of a general pump all the way up here to around 2.7. I should have sold then, but we do what we do. We live and learn. Should have sold at 2.7, but I hodled. And then we have again Valley of Despair waiting for some other news or announcement to pump again. So this would probably be a good time to perhaps pick up a Smilesverse if you wanted to. This would perhaps be a good time to pick up an Adidas. And in fact, I've actually been thinking about snagging an Adidas. So again, definitely learning how to read these graphs. It's not all that complicated. It's really just knowing when there's a pump based on some kind of volatile news. Then there's going to be a sell-off as a result of that pump. Then some reaccumulation and perhaps another moon in the future. So you want to buy in during those reaccumulation phases. You want to buy in during these phases. You don't want to buy at the very top like here or like here. You don't want to buy at those top peaks. So with that being said, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure to drop a like, subscribe again. The Patreon is down below in the description. I truly do think you guys love it over there. Thank you so much. As always, let me know down below in the comments if you guys have something I didn't mention in this video as to why you think an NFT portfolio could be going down. So thank you guys for watching. My name is Matt. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.